We're all familiar with the saddest ad of all time, but did you know that it helped raise over $30 million for the ASPCA?
Hey, Nare.
Hey, LA, what's up?
Okay, so I was watching the Sad Animal commercial with Sarah McLachlan. In the arms of an angel. It is the saddest thing ever. How did they make that commercial so sad? How did they get that effect?
I know it's complicated, but could you explain the basics of what makes a song sound sad to us?
You know, I think that's just a topic where songwriters are really so far ahead of scientists that I feel hesitant to dispense any suggestions.
So there are many techniques that songwriters use to make a song sound sad. Although with all of these techniques, there are plenty of exceptions. Stereotypically speaking, people associate major chords with happiness and minor chords with sadness, but oftentimes this isn't the case. For example, Angel by Sarah McLachlan is in the key of D-flat major.
In the arms of the angel, fly away from here.
On the other hand, there are plenty of party anthems written in the minor key, and they definitely don't sound sad.
Every day I'm shuffling.
Shake that.
But still, here are some ingredients that can help you write a sad song, including the use of minor chords. Western music is generally based on the relationship between the following chords. Here it is in C major. Now in C minor. Let's take the C minor chord in its most basic form. It's comprised of 3 notes, C, E flat, and G. If I play a note that is not part of this chord, it's called a non-chord tone. For example, F is not a part of these 3 notes. Now if I take this F and I bring it back to one of the chord tones, in this case E flat, this movement is called an appoggiatura. Applied to the previous chord progression, they sound like this. Let's now add some more notes to create descending lines. This type of movement downwards tends to create a sense of longing. Repeated notes and figures can also create a more somber effect. For example, let's compare this figure to this one. Now, of course, a lot of the emotional effects that come from these notes depend on the way that you play them.
One of the main ingredients for a sad song would be a slow tempo.
One thing people think about has to do with how we move and speak when we're sad. And this idea that music kind of borrows or mimics those characteristics. So if you think about what it would sound like if I was talking to you and I was really sad. Right? I might slow down, my voice might get lower, and so all these kinds of things that you might do musically when you're trying to express sadness.
If you were to speed up the song Angel by Sarah McLachlan, it wouldn't sound very sad at all.
In the arms of the angel, fly away from here, from this dark world till and the endlessness that's fear. From this dark world.
So Angel has a slow tempo, and there are some repeated notes and chord movements that create some tension, but overall I couldn't find that many sad song techniques used in the song. So I wonder, is the commercial sad because of the song itself or because of the visuals that go along with it?
There are lots of studies in music perception that ask exactly that kind of question. And the way they'll ask it is they'll play people just the song, and then they'll show other people just the imagery, like just the sad dogs, and they'll show other people the whole commercial and get people to rate how sad it seems. And usually the type of thing that research finds is that those visual images are really seeping into the sounds themselves. You feel like you're responding to the music, but it's really quite impactfully shaped by the imagery you're seeing while you're listening. And not only for that hearing, but much later. So you could hear that song, you know, years later when you've forgotten the sad dogs. Like, you don't remember overtly the dogs. However, you know, they've left their mark in the sense that the song continues to sound really devastating, you know.
Is there something that happens to the brain when you're processing these types of emotions, when you're listening to something sad?
There's something called mirror neurons, or the mirror system in the brain. So these are basically neurons in the brain that are active both when we are observing another person carrying out an action, such as grasping an apple, for example, and when we ourselves are grasping an apple. So basically, these are neurons that help us understand the actions of others by actually simulating them internally. So as if we ourselves were carrying out that same action. This is also related to a phenomenon called emotional contagion. For example, we're speaking with someone who is sad, we start to mimic or imitate, mirror their sad facial expressions and their posture, and we might ourselves kind of start feeling sad as a result.
And can this happen when you're listening to music? Can you mirror what's happening in the music and say that I'm happy today and I listen to something that's sad? Can I all of a sudden turn sad because I'm mirroring these emotions?
We don't really have any solid evidence on it yet, but there are quite a lot of theoretical papers or proposing that this is probably what might be happening while we're listening to sad music as well, that our brain is engaged in this sort of mirroring.
So, we thought it could be fun if we tried to make the music psychologist sad by putting all of our sad ingredients into one original song. And of course, we couldn't forget the saddest ingredient of all, homeless animals.
First of all, there's this sort of lamenting pattern, this very old kind of pattern that's like a sigh, right? And there's also this kind of stasis, right, in that excerpt where it feels like you're kind of stuck, and that's a very kind of common experience during sadness or depression, right? That you can't kind of move beyond it. I guess that's probably, you know, not as helpful to you, but it's very helpful to me to like listen to, you know, what people do when they're writing sad music, for sure.
Hi, I'm Nari Soul. Please say you'll subscribe to Soundfield. We need your help. Right now, comment and tell us what you think the saddest song in the world is, and let us know what you think of ours. And remember, adopt, don't shop.